What's going on? I know there's a lot of people who don't have access to a gym or don't feel comfortable going to the gym yet, or maybe they just want to work out at home. And that's totally okay because you can get jacked from home, no problem. And I'm going to show you how to do it in this video by giving you some exercises to follow, as well as devise a plan for you at the end. So let's get into it. If you have dumbbells or any home equipment, that's great, but the only things we're going to need is a backpack here, and one of these at-home pull-up bars, or just a place to hang from, which you can literally find anywhere. You'll be surprised all the spots that you can find if you just look for it. However, I recommend buying one of these because they're super useful and they're cheap. They're like 20 bucks. As for the bag, it's kind of self-explanatory. We're just gonna fill it with weights and use it for some of the exercises that I'm gonna show. I personally use books to fill it up because I'm an intellectual and knowledge is power.
Knowledge.
Another great way to add weight into it is to fill up water bottles and throw those in there. It doesn't have to be the heaviest thing in the world, but we need a little bit of resistance in that thing. The first one we're going to start off with is legs, everybody's favorite. And this one's pretty difficult to hit at home because it's a pretty strong muscle, which can make it difficult to overload it and cause growth. But here's a few exercises I got that I think are the best for at home. Starting with Bulgarian split squats, there's a few different variations you can do depending on your strength, and you can always add dumbbells to make it harder. So doing it just normal is too easy for you, then I recommend slowing it down or turning it into a more explosive variation where you're just kind of jumping and then controlling the down and then jumping. As we go through these exercises, if there's more than one variation, you want to choose the progression that challenges you the most. That way you force yourself to improve and you can move on to harder exercises in the future. The pistol squat is up next, and this is a great exercise. This one can be performed in a few different ways. The first variation would be using a box for assistance and kind of doing like a one-legged box squat. This takes some of the balance out of it and you're not getting the same depth, so it's a little bit easier. If that gets a little easy for you and you really got that one down, I would move to assisted pistol squats where you're using a wall or some form of assistance to help you up and balance. Try to use as little assistance as possible, that way you're not leaving anything on the table. And if you're able to, you can move to the pistol squat unassisted. This takes a lot of balance, some core strength, but it does put a lot of load on your leg. Next up is an exercise that's great for your hamstrings and will also really help you athletically, and that is Nordics. For this one, you just need a couch or like a bed, something to pin your heels down, even like a training partner would help. And try to keep your body in a straight line as you slowly lower, fighting back the urge to like fall down until you can't anymore, and then just push yourself up while also bringing yourself up with your hamstrings. This exercise is actually pretty difficult, and to do a full one without assistance is pretty difficult, but it will really help you increase the strength of your hamstrings. Next up, we're gonna hit the glutes, and this is also a pretty strong muscle, so it's pretty hard to hit without weights. For this one, you wanna get set up with your shoulders on like a couch or a table, and then keep your legs at a 90 degree. Using one leg, it's basically just like a hip thrust, and you can add weight to it if you'd like. Although, if you're doing it correctly, you'll really feel the burn with or without weight. Of course, we can't forget about the calves, so we'll get an elevated surface and do one-legged calf raises so we can get that teardrop. Next one I have for you is push day exercises that you can do from home. So most of these are going to be push-ups because it's a great exercise, and there's a ton of variations you can do that stimulate different muscles. Starting with explosive push-ups, which is a great exercise to start your workouts with as it trains your explosive power. Next up is the decline push-up, which hits the upper chest, which is often a lagging body part for most people and can be smaller than the rest of your chest. So don't forget to skip this one. It's really important and can really help you get that like shelf look. And if these start to become easy for you, you can challenge yourself with harder progressions such as the archer push-up. I find this one to be difficult, but it really helps you put load on your muscles as you're basically pushing yourself up with one arm. However, chest isn't the only body part we need to hit. Shoulders are also really important when doing push exercises, and a great exercise to hit that body part is pike push-ups. This is a little bit harder than your standard push-up, and it really burns on the shoulders. If these get too easy for you too, you can just increase the difficulty by raising your legs. For me, doing them up against the wall completely is a little difficult for me, so I stick to just elevated pike push-ups. I really feel it in my shoulders and I really get a good pump after it. So just find one that challenges you and then work on it until you can move up. Now that we got our main push movement out of the way, we can do some accessory movements with the bag that we got. With our handy dandy backpack, we can do front raises, lateral raises, and rear delt rows, which is important because we want to hit our front, rear, and lateral delts, especially the lateral delts because that's what gives you the wider shoulders. You don't want to forget about the rear delts either though, because hitting those will help you get that rounded shoulder. You know, you want boulder shoulders and you want wide shoulders, so you got to hit it all. Another muscle we want to hit is the tricep because it makes up 2/3 of our arm, so might as well get it going. And you can do this with diamond push-ups, which is just another push-up variation, but this one focuses a little bit more on the triceps. Another way we can hit our triceps from home is using our bag to do tricep extensions. This is a great exercise, and really try to focus on that contraction as you're going up and down. And there's a ton of push exercises that you can do, but those are just a few that you can try out and put to use right now. So let's move on. The next up is back, and this one's crucial because back is how you look like a Dorito, and that's the goal. To accomplish this without weights, we're gonna have to use our body weight, and we're gonna do that with pull-ups. I can't stress this enough, pull-ups is the best exercise and is crucial for developing that taper and bigger lats. Just like the push-up, there's a bunch of variations, so don't just stick to one grip, switch up the grips. Challenge yourself with new movements to increase your strength and develop. If you can't do pull-ups yet, that's totally okay. You can start with Australian pull-ups, or you can do jumping pull-ups and focus on the negative. If you focus on the negative long enough, it'll become a positive and you'll be able to do that exercise. That's mathematical. So just focus on what you can do, whether that's Australian pull-ups, jumping pull-ups, negative pull-ups, and just work your way up until you're able to start doing some pull-ups and just get stronger and stronger. We also want to increase the width of our back, which can be a little bit tough to do from home, but you can just find a desk or a place to hang from that's a little bit lower and do rows wherever you can find fit. You do have to get a little creative on this one, but this is still a great way to increase the width of your back and will help you greatly. We also want to focus on the biceps, and the best exercise to do that is the curl up. And I know I just said pull-ups, but this one's a little different because of the grip of your hands, and it'll focus a little bit more on your biceps. I mean, have you ever seen a gymnast? Their arms are massive, and they mostly train with body weight and straight arm exercises. The reason their biceps are so massive is because they do curl-ups. However, curl-ups can be a little bit tough, especially if you already did pull-ups earlier in the day. So using dumbbells or the bag that we got, you can just do curls, and that will hit your biceps as well. And the last muscle I'm going to touch on real quick is the core. A lot of these exercises you can just find online, but I'm just going to give you one exercise that I think is really beneficial to start out with at least, and that is hanging leg raises. Working on this will really help you improve your core overall, making it a lot stronger. Okay, now that I showed you some exercises you can do from home, I'm going to show you the plan that I used during COVID when I couldn't have access to the gym. It's not going to be the perfect plan, especially since you're doing it from home, and I'm also not like a science-based expert, but this helped me gain 20 pounds through COVID just from doing an at-home workout. And hopefully this plan gives you something that's not confusing to follow, that you can do from home, that will help you improve. So let's break it down. This is the plan. So the plan will be an upper body, lower body split, and we'll be doing supersets on the upper body day just to save a little bit of time. And feel free to switch it up. You can do whatever you want with it. This is just kind of like a baseline to go off of. And over time, you're gonna have to make tweaks and changes. But hopefully it adds a little bit of structure to your workout. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. But anyways, have a good day. Peace.